Good afternoon, everyone. I, Prakhar Kumar Singh, Officer Trainee of 96th Foundation course at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, welcome today's guest speaker, Olympian, Miss PV Sindhu ma'am.
Hello, everyone.
Honorable Director, sir, our course coordinator, Monica Dhami ma'am, and all my fellow officer trainees. Pusarla Venkata Sindhu, a name that needs no introduction, is one of the most successful Olympian India has ever produced. Today, it is a moment of immense honor and pride for me to restate those stimulating medals and titles all over again in front of the champion herself. She is only the second individual athlete from India to win 2 consecutive medals at the Olympic Games. A silver at Rio Olympics 2016 and a bronze at Tokyo Olympics 2021. She is also the first and only Indian to become the badminton world champion after winning gold in the 2019 World Championship. In addition to that, she has won gold and silver medals in the 2018 Commonwealth Games and a silver in the 2018 Asian Games. For her glory and establishing India's name on the world badminton map as an indomitable contender, Government of India conferred her with Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna and Arjuna Award. We are very fortunate that LBS Premier League will also be inaugurated today by Ms. PV Sindhu ma'am. LBS Premier League is an initiative of the Officers Club that strives to promote esprit de corps amongst the officer trainees and to ensure that the future officers of this country have an active participation in sports and lead the charge in making a fit India. This edition is scheduled from 31st January till 17th March and includes 4 indoor and 8 outdoor games, including cricket, football, and badminton. Now I request ma'am to please inaugurate LBS Premier League, followed by a short video on it. On behalf of the Academy, I again welcome you, ma'am, and I request you to take over the session.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. And respected director of the academy, Mr. Srinivas sir. Of course, he was 1989 batch IAS officer of Gujarat cadre, and Disha Panu ma'am, deputy director in academy and responsible for physical fitness and outdoor activities of the trainees, and Shubham sir, the chairman of Officers Club. A very good evening to you all, and also to all the 489 officers and trainers and all of them who are attending the 96 foundation course and academy. Firstly, it's a great pleasure to be here today, and it's a great opportunity for me, of course, to be here in front of you all virtually. Since we know this, this COVID situations, we had to do a lot more of virtual activities. But I think it's definitely a great honor for me to speak to you all in this call. And of course, I'm very very happy that from the 498 office trainees, I can proudly say that one third are lady officer trainers. Hats off to you all. And of course, I've been told that all the trainees are divided into 12 groups for many academic and sports purposes, and the competition is basically also for all over championship won by the houses with maximum points, and all the very best for that. And of course, our a director has been having this keen interest in pushing and supporting sports activities in the academy, and who doesn't love sports? And I'm sure that you all should enjoy in what you do, and you all should just give your best and give your 100% no matter what. And I think for me and for you all out there, I would just say one thing, that winning and losing is part of life, but I think the most important thing is you give your best no matter what. You give your 100%. I think at the end of the day, you should feel proud for yourself that yes, I can do it and I will do it and I've done it. I think that's all matters at the end of the day. And of course, when they've invited me, it was definitely a great thing, because I am here in front of you all talking about my journey. So I've heard that you've been really working hard in your journey, so I would wanted to share a couple of minutes, if you are all okay. In I just wanted to share my journey and how I've come so far, I mean, till here. And I'm sure everybody's journeys would almost be the same, but I think for me, being here, the hard work that is required, the sacrifices that are required, and I'm sure you've all been doing that. So I think starting off from my journey, I would say when I initially started playing badminton, I'm sure everybody must have been interested and must have been playing badminton so far, isn't it? So yeah, well, when I started playing badminton, I started at the age of 8.5, and my parents themselves were volleyball players, and both my parents used to work in railways. So when I started playing, a lot of people started telling that why badminton, what will she do, will she achieve, will she not? So at that point of time, when I initially started, that was my interest. And when I initially started, I mean, nobody thought that I would come so far and I've become number one and I would get Olympic medal, I would get a world championship medal. But they were all thinking that, okay, let's see what happens. And neither studies nor sports, what's next? So I think that was the important moment in my life where I had to take a decision for myself. And of course, my parents supported me, that no matter what people are going to say, we still are going to support you. Because I think it is very important to understand that you need to understand your children's, or you need to understand what they want, and you have to guide them in a right way. And I think my parents, being themselves volleyball players, they've guided me in a right way, because they know and they've come up from that level. So I think that was, I would say that I'm really lucky to have parents like them. And since then I started playing badminton, and I was winning a couple of matches, I was losing a couple of matches, and back to back I was also studying. And I must say that I've completed my MBA. So a lot of people say that if you're into sports, you don't need studies. I mean, I think according to me, studies and sports are equally important, according to me, and that is required at some point of time. So yeah, I mean, I completed my MBA and I started winning tournaments, and there was a time where everything was fine. And I was, there was Olympic qualifications in 2015, and that is when I was injured. So I had a stress fracture. It was pretty bad. I know injuries are part of life. They keep coming, they keep going. They don't tell you, but it suddenly happens. But you have to come back stronger. That is what is important. But when I got injured in 2015, I thought, everything is over. And I mean, I didn't have that hope or belief that can I come back? Can I make it? Because there was only 1 year period where I had to get selected for the Olympics, and I had to be in the top 16 in the world. And I was in the top 13. So I had to take a break for 6 months. And with God's grace, everything was fine. I came back, and of course, I got the silver medal for the country in 2016. That is at Rio. So yeah, I mean, back then I was like an underdog, where people were like, okay, Sindhu is going for the Olympics, and okay, let's see how it goes. But before that, of course, I was the first Indian woman to get world championships bronze medals. But Olympics is definitely where everybody would dream and hope that they would want to get a medal at Olympics, and it is once in 4 years. So finally, 2016, the time has arrived, and I got a silver medal. After that, wherever I go, whenever I go, people always had this expectations and love and support that wherever Sindhu goes, we need a medal, we need a cup, which is not possible all the time. Because sometimes you might play brilliantly, sometimes it might not just be your day. A couple of times, it might just be that you give your 100%, and everything works out well. So there were days like that where sometimes I was brilliant, and sometimes it was just not my day. So people used to tell me what's happening, what went wrong. And I remember in 2018, I always used to, almost I think 8 tournaments in a row or 9 tournaments in a row, I always kept losing in the finals, and I was a runner up and a silver medalist. So I mean, a lot of people started asking me that, why is it happening? I mean, what's happening to you, or are you feeling the pressure? And they started calling me Silver Sindhu, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I didn't know what was going. I felt bad. I discussed with my parents. I don't know where it was going wrong. But I think at some point of time, people started asking me that, are you having that pressure? Are you not able to cross that, final hurdle? But I didn't tell them anything, but I rather thought for myself that, I have to just give an answer with my racket. And, in 2018 in December, that was one of the biggest tournaments for the year. And I won that tournament. And I just told them one thing, that, yes, I've given the, answer with my racket. So I would just say one thing here, coming to that level is fine, but, maintaining that level is very, very hard. And, once you come till there, I think, it shouldn't matter, because you will give your 100%. But as I mentioned earlier, it might not be your day. And I feel on that day, who plays well and give their best is a winner, is what I feel. And in a match, one can win and one can lose. That's how it is. That's how life is. You keep winning and you keep losing. But the most important thing is you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your things, what you've done, and you shouldn't repeat them again. I think that is very important, and these are the lessons in life which will remember forever. So after that, I kept going, and it was going on well. And in 2019, of course, I got a gold medal at the World Championships. And that was one of the memorable wins for me, because in 2013, I had a bronze medal in the World Championships. In 2014, I had a bronze medal. So, I always wanted the gold medal, and I was really fighting hard each and every time at the World Championships, but ended up with bronze in 2013 and 14. And 2015, I lost in the quarterfinals. And 2016, of course, there's no World Championships. I got a silver at Rio. And 2017 and 2018, I got, silver at the World Championships. And I was thinking for myself that, I need to get that medal no matter what. So in 2019, finally, I got the gold medal. And I thought for myself that, yes, I have proved it now to the world that, I can do it, and I've done it. So that's how memorable for me the World Championship gold medal was. And yeah, I mean, years passed by, and day by day, month by month, year by year, I've started improving. And finally, other Olympics came up. Of course, 2020, we all know the pandemic was hit us hard, and we were all at our homes doing nothing. And I think even for me, I couldn't train. It was sad, because for the first time, I've never taken so much break. it was sad that to hear that, the Olympics was cancelled and the Olympics was postponed. But I was still hoping, that I will be in my best shape, and I kept working hard. So 2021, another Olympics, and talking about it, I think it hasn't sunk in yet for me, because definitely getting one medal for the country at the Olympics itself is a big thing. So this time, little more added pressure, little more expectations. So that definitely, I had a lot of pressure in that, because people's expectations were a lot more. So each match mattered a lot for me. And I think from the first round it was important, and losing in the semi-finals was really hard, because I had really mixed emotions, where I thought for myself that um, should I be happy because I have another chance to play for the bronze medal, or should I be sad that I couldn't go to the finals? So that day night, I finished my match, and next day morning, I had to play the bronze medal match, which was really, really hard, because after a loss, coming back stronger is very hard. So, but my coach just told me one thing, that there's a lot of difference between a bronze and the fourth position. I think that hit me, and I couldn't sleep that night. But the only thing I could do is just give my 200%. And yeah, here again I am with the bronze medal at Tokyo 2020 Olympics. So I think this was the whole journey so far since then until now. So I think it's not over yet, and this win and these awards and rewards would definitely mean a lot. And I think this is only the starting for me, and there's more way to go on. And I think in this journey there were a lot of people in my life in this journey, where they've supported me, encouraged me no matter what. So I'm very, very thankful to all of them, because I think the parent support is the most important thing. And it's very important for them to guide us in a right way. I'm sure everybody might have thoughts where, which side to go. Should we go in this way, or should we go in this way? So I think that those judgments are very important in life. And I think, yeah, this is my journey. And looking at you all, I would say that I would want to say a few things, where I'm sure you've been working really hard, and I think it's not an easy journey. I think you all agree with me. I completely understand where you've come from, and it's not an easy journey. But I think to the people out there playing different sports, also including badminton, I think sport is where you need to enjoy. I think that is the most important thing, because if you if you're not really interested in what you do, and you just do for the sake, I think you will regret it later. So I would just want to say that, enjoy in whatever you do. I don't want you all to regret, to look back and think, I should have done something wrong, I should have done something different, or did I do something wrong? I don't want you all to question yourself, that I should have done something, or did I do wrong, or did something go wrong? I think these questions shouldn't pop up in the future. Rather, you enjoy in whatever you do, no matter what. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But trying is the most important thing. You keep trying, and at some point of time, you will succeed in your life, or you would enjoy in what you do. I think that satisfaction altogether is very different. That yes, I've tried it. You've succeeded in that or not doesn't matter, but it's very important that yes, I've tried in whatever I want. So I think that is the most important thing, because in my life I've tried things, and sometimes it went wrong in a match, sometimes they were right, I think. But I've learned a lot in my journey so far, and I'm still learning, because every day is a learning process. And I think even for you all, I'm sure every day is a learning process. You learn a lot more. And if I can achieve so much in my life, I'm sure even you guys can achieve, and you've achieved a lot. And once again, I would wish you all the very best for everything. And also, I think in the academy, tournament which is happening at LBSNAA from Jan until March. I'm sure you will enjoy it, and I would like to thank LBSNAA for encouraging sport and supporting, because it is very, very important. I think sport is definitely important, because it is not just that you play and you finish off with it, but I think I would ask you all to continue playing sport or continue doing exercise every single day, because I think exercise is very important for the body, and it keeps you healthy and it keeps you fit. So yeah, once again, all the very best to all of you, and thank you for having me. It's wonderful to see you all, and hoping for some questions out here. I would answer you all.
Yeah, thank you so much, dear. First of all, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. And I would be talking to you later, but before moving ahead, I would be requesting our director, sir, who is here. Sir, please, if you can share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Sindhu.
Thank you, sir.
For your service, for your successes, for your message, and for being with all of us here. We are really proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And we'd be delighted if you can come and actually give the prizes away.
I know,
So,
yeah.
all the best, and all the best to you, and wish to see you achieve greater and greater success for our country. All the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now I request officer trainees who want to ask questions to please ask them.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can I ask a question? Actually, I'm attending the session online.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I have been huge fan of you, ma'am. I have also been playing badminton a little bit. I have a question. How do you deal with the deception queen like a Tai Zuing? And actually, I have also been seeing her game, but it has been very tough to predict her.
Yeah, so definitely there are some deceptive players. They're very skillful players, and every individual has a different gameplay. So it's very important to understand it, and it's very important to strategize accordingly, because yeah, Tai Zuing, Carolina are different types. They both have different types of game, but it's very important to strategize and accordingly play, because you can't play the same type of game with everyone. For Tai Zu, yeah, she's a very, very skillful and very deceptive player. So with her, it's very important that, you have to be very, very focused, and you have to be on your feet like all the time. It's not that, one point you play easily and another point, you give away easily, but every point matters. So with each player, it's definitely a different type of play.
Good afternoon, PV. I'm Vinayak here, actually a big fan. So just when you were speaking right now, you said it very quickly that when you lost the game, and in within 24 hours, you had to play another game for the bronze medal. So what actually goes through the mind of the athlete? And I know the coaches are there to support you, but I believe it's the athlete who has to go on the field and then on the court and then play the game. Yesterday, we saw Nadal coming back from 2 sets down, winning on to a historic title. So first question is that, what goes through the mind of the athlete? And second question is that, how do you build this mental strength throughout your career? Because I believe that sports on this level needs a lot of mental strength, because you are being supported by 1 billion people. And just on a last note, I would like to say that I'd be cheering for you for a gold at Paris. All the best.
Thank you. Yeah, so firstly, talking about the match, yes, it wasn't easy at all. I understand, as you said, which is very true, very correct, that coaches will be there, but at the end of the day, it is your, mindset, and you should play, because you're on the court all the time. Your coach might say a few things, but it's you who should play. So at that point of time, as I mentioned, there were mixed emotions. I had tears. I was sad, like a normal person. But as I told you that, yeah, my coach told me one thing, that there's a lot of difference between a bronze and the 4th position. So I think that made a huge difference, because getting a medal for the country, standing on the podium, that feeling is completely different. And, being in the fourth position, and you understand that feeling and the pain, that then you shouldn't think that I should have been on the podium. So when you had a chance and when you got a second chance, I think it's very important to go and give all out. Yeah, mental strength plays a very important role. Of course, I forgot to tell when I was actually telling about my game. So mental strength is very, very important, because I'm sure everybody out here know mental strength plays a very major role. Because, at times, for me, especially when I play a game or when I'm trailing or when I'm leading, there were situations where, suddenly, you build up the tension, you're very anxious, and, you tend to lose, or sometimes you get blank. So I think there the mental strength really works out, because, at times players and opponents will always be there to strategize and disturb you. So at that point of time, you have to be mentally strong to face them, to face them and play against them, and you have to feel that it's okay. If a point goes, if they're irritating me or if they're disturbing me, just fine. You have to take your own time, just be focused and just be calm, and give your best. Because for me, I do meditation, and that keeps me calm. And I also request you all to, spare some time to meditate, because I think that keeps you calm, and that keeps your mind clean and makes you think in these kind of situations. Because at times you tend to get blank, you don't know what to do and what is next. Coaches might keep saying you, but that might actually not go into your head, because in that crucial moment, it is very important for you to change immediately. For example, if plan A doesn't work, you have to, change it to plan B within no seconds. So at that point of time, I think the mental strength is where works, because when you keep your mind calm and when you tend to think, that is when you get ideas. So it is very important to keep calm no matter what, even though they're disturbing, even though they're, strategically, playing some games, it doesn't matter. But you take your own time and not think about what has happened, but think about what is next. So for me, when I lost few points, sometimes I tend to think, but it is very important to forget what has happened, and you need to focus what needs to happen. So that is how I keep thinking and I keep motivating myself.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Your journey is very inspirational. You mentioned that one should come back stronger after every defeat. But how do you do that? How do you pull yourself up after every defeat? Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely it is not easy. It's not as easy as I say. It will take time, because there were matches where I've lost, and even in life, when you lost something, or when you couldn't get something what you want, definitely it might take a couple of days, it might take few hours, few days, but it is very important to come back stronger, because it's not just over with this. Life doesn't end with this. There's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to overcome. So it is very important to leave what has happened, because I'm sure you thought you could have won, but you've lost, but it's over now. What is next? I think that is very important, and you need to focus on that. And it is very important to learn from your mistakes and come back stronger, because it's not that for me, after I finish a match, it's not that I have years and years to feel sad and come back, but you don't have enough time, and immediately I might have a tournament in a week or two. So for me, it is very important to switch and think that see my match, learn from my mistakes, and come back stronger. So that is how it is even in life. I mean, even though you fail or you couldn't get that or you couldn't succeed, I think you have to keep trying no matter what. So
good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, this is Harsh Parashar. I don't have a question, but I want to share a very small anecdote from the 2016 game when it was going on. Okay. And I never thought that I'll get this opportunity to share with you in person. So thank you. It was 2016 and we were in college and we had gone out to Domino's to have our pizza. Every Friday we did that. And then your game was going on the TV and everybody, and it was a point when you were dominating the game. And suddenly everybody was stuck. Nobody was leaving Domino's. People who were walking outside, they pushed against the wall of the Domino's, the glass. And it was crazy. Like everybody was cheering and rooting for you. And when the game ended, everybody was a little sad because we didn't win. And suddenly, my friend who was with me, he said, "We won the Olympic medal." And suddenly the mood changed, and everybody was like shouting and howling like crazy. And everybody started hugging, even though we didn't know who we were hugging.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Ma'am, I want to add something, that you will always be titanium Sindhu for us. You'll be more than any gold. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I would like to share a small note about it. Firstly, thank you so much, because in Olympics, I didn't know how the craze was. When I came back to India, the reception that I've received, I mean, people started telling me that you don't know how it was. It was crazy, and of course, that made me really happy. So couple of people told me that you should have won a gold, but it's okay, it doesn't matter. So I just kept telling myself that I have got what I've not expected, and I'm happy. I mean, it's sad that I couldn't get gold, but first Olympics, and I've thought what I've not expected, and I'm very happy. But I just thought for myself, I did not lose gold, I won silver. So I think that gave me a lot of confidence, and that gave me a lot of strength, and I kept going forward.
Madam, good afternoon. Nenu mi chala pedda fan ni.
Thank you.
And I'm representing Beti Bachao Beti Padhao group.
Okay.
So I also relate to the 2016 match. I was in college in IIT Madras, and we were in the open air theater. It was holding 400 students, and we were with you throughout the game. Even after that, the exact same thing happened, that we realized we won an Olympic medal, and it was amazing. So my question is, ma'am, how is your rivalry with Carolina Marin? Are you friends off court? Do you motivate each other? Do you keep in touch? Can you briefly talk about that? Thank you.
Yeah. Off court, we are good friends, and on court we have to be rivalries, and we are rivalries. Because on court we are very aggressive, and she's very aggressive, and all the time whenever we play a match, we're shouting against each other, and I think it's all part of the game, and I think that is very important in the sport, to have that rivalry in every sports person, because that gives a beauty towards the sport. And off court, we are really good friends, even though when we play against each other, we've lost matches, or when I play against someone else. And at times, when we meet outside the stadium or after a match, so we say hi, we just speak that how was your game and what happened. And recently, when she injured herself in 2021, I've asked her, 2020, I've asked her how she was feeling, and I said, get well soon and all that. But unfortunately, again, she had a major surgery, and it was sad because everybody was talking about that rivalry. And Olympics Sunday, it was like Carolina and Sindhu, because last Olympics was Carolina and Sindhu. So even this Olympics, they were hoping for that. But unfortunately, she couldn't play. But I gave her my wishes, and I told her to get well soon. And also last time her dad passed away, so I spoke to her. I made sure she was feeling fine. She was fine. She was feeling better. So I think these kind of friendship is also needed. But I think being a sports person, that rivalry will always be there, and I think that's good for the sport, because that is very much important. I think if that rivalry isn't there, I think it was just a normal type of game. You wouldn't have seen sports persons very aggressive, just you play and come out. But I think having that rivalry, I think people get to know, okay, what is she gonna do, and okay, that is how she is on court and off court. Because a lot of people, when I used to play, a lot of people think on court I'm very aggressive, so off court also I'm very aggressive. But it's pretty opposite. On court, yes, I am aggressive, because I should be. for the sport I play. But off court, I'm very calm and, jovial girl. So a lot of people get confused and keep telling me that, we thought you're very aggressive, but no, it's just in the sport.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, it's evident that I speak for the nation that you are an incredible inspiration. As a sports person who was born and grown in our motherland, what would you suggest us as administrative authorities that we should do so that we can have more Indians with the indomitable spirit of PV Sindhu?
Well, I think more sports persons. I'm sure right now, whatever has been happening in India, the support system, the government, the people encouraging and supporting sportsmen, I think that should be a lot more. Because if you see, there are a lot of Indians who are very much interested in one or the other sport, not only badminton, but in one or the other sport. But I think it's important that, as sports person, as children, as athletes, as people, they need to also show interest in what they do. And administrative side, I would say, I think the support from your side, towards anything, you can pick up a player or take few players, support them, encourage them, and nurture them. I think that is very important, because if you see in one or the other state, you can see like so many children, so many youngsters who are doing really well. But sometimes it happens where they don't get right kind of support and encouragement. I think that needs to be more. I'm not saying we don't have that, but I think, yeah, we have government support, we have funds coming in, we have everything. But I think it should be a lot more. That is what I meant to say.
Good afternoon, ma'am. It's an absolute honor to be talking to you today. I have two questions. One, we all know that Olympians are made in the training they do behind the scenes and not on the day when they are playing. So I would like you to talk a bit about how training can get boring at times, but you still have to do it. So what keeps you going? And number two would be that you have been in the spotlight for a long time and from a very young age. Most of us might be in that spotlight for the coming few years.
What? You are already.
So I would like to know from you that how do you keep the core of PV Sindhu intact, the girl who belongs to Hyderabad, how do you keep that inside? Thank you.
Well, firstly, what keeps me going is, I think, badminton is my passion. And every day training, every day practicing sessions, morning and evening. Yeah, at times you might feel a bit of fatigue. You might feel that, I'm tired today. And there's nothing wrong in that. I'm sure everybody will feel that. But, it is also important when you have to rest, you need that rest, because there might be situations where, sometimes you're very fatigued and you tend to play and you get injured. So you need to understand the right time when your body is tired, when you're feeling really tired or fatigued. It is okay to rest for a day, for 2, for 3 days, for 4 days. But I'm sure whenever you have passion towards something, you constantly keep thinking and you constantly want to go out there and try out new stuff and learn new stuff. And that is what will be, going in your head. And I think when you have that passion and when you have a dream to achieve something in life, and I think that keeps me going. Of course, I getting a medal at Rio and then Tokyo. And, of course, for me, there are a lot more goals in my life. Presently, I have a couple of tournaments coming forward. So my goal is to do well in that. So I think when I think about that, and that keeps me going. And, whenever I feel tired or whenever I feel fatigued, it's fine. I tell my coach, I discuss with my trainer, I take a break. But I think the goal which I want to achieve in my life, I think that keeps me going and that keeps me motivated that, no, I need to get up. Sometimes getting up early in the morning might be hard. But, when I think about that goal, it's like, no, come on, Sindhu, I need to get up. I need to achieve that. So I'm going to do anything for it. I think that keeps me going and that drives me. And yeah, being in the limelight, thank you for that. Thank you for the compliment, being in the limelight for such a long time. Thanks for that. But yeah, I think for me, even though I win, or even though being high up there, achieving a lot of medals, rewards, and awards, I think for me, it's that it's only the starting and there's no way to go on. And you need to understand from which level you've come. Because I remember my father telling me that, no matter what no matter what, you're in the top, you're at the top, and you are there for so many years, you need to understand from which level you've come, and you shouldn't forget that. I think that that remembers me whenever I'm there, or whenever I'm in the limelight, that you need to understand from which level you've come. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, if you remember, coming to a certain level is fine, but maintaining that is much more harder. To keep that, I think it's very important to keep working more harder than how much you've done earlier. So right now I'm in that stage where I need to work more harder, because everybody will look up to me. Everybody would want to win against me. They strategize their game plans accordingly and come and play against me. So I have to be in a situation where I have to be 2 or 3% more than them, where that is when I say you have to work smartly, and you have to make sure you are mentally and physically fit.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Thank you, ma'am, for the best words. I just want to. We all know that the great players come because of the great opponents. I just want to know, what do you think that who is the greatest opponent that you have faced? And the second one, what quality that you appreciate her or him, that you still thinks that I need to improve on that qualities. Thank you.
I think I still say that I have to improve a lot more, because for me every day is a learning process, and practice makes you perfect. I think that is the slogan. I mean, you all might be knowing. So for me, I would say the top 1 to 10 players in the world are all of same standard, are all of uh, same level. Because playing with Taizu, it might be different. Playing with Carolina, it might be different. Playing with Yamaguchi, playing with Okuhara, it might be different. But I think this level is almost the same, and there is no 1 or 2 players where I would say that, oh yeah, they're brilliant, because it depends on that particular day. And also at the same time, every player has a different style of play, and we have to change accordingly, because every time we play against them, I'm sure they're going to go back and look at our matches, do video analysis, and come back. So it's very important that we change our game every single time. So that is when I say we have to work hard and we have to work smart as well. So I think now, especially when you take Taizu or Anseong or Chen Yufi, Yamaguchi, Okuhara, they might be a different game style, but I think the level is always the same, and it just depends on that particular day. Who plays well and give their best is the winner, in my opinion.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Pallavi. Ma'am, you've played a lot of championships, Olympics, and we all know that these sports tournaments are filled with emotional turmoils, highs and lows, and there are a lot of small stories that go on behind the scenes that we don't get to know. Is there any particular incident that has touched your heart or stayed with you for long and that you'd like to share? And also, ma'am, I have one more question. Like, we look up to you and we cheer for you. Is there any other sports person that Sindhu looks up to or cheers for? We would also like to know about that.
Yeah. Well, firstly, there's small memories where I mentioned earlier about the 2015 stress fracture, where I had to take a break for 6 months. I think that was one of the major ones, where I couldn't play for 6 months, and it was very important for me to be in the Olympics, because I had to be in the top 16 in the world, and I had to play 23 tournaments in a year to be there. So it was really hard for me to come back, play 23 tournaments in a year, because it was back to back. I also had to be physically fit. So that was one of the things. And I think second one was in before 2021, before Olympics, where we were all fine and everything was going on well, and I was completely fit. But unfortunately, because of this pandemic, COVID-19 hit very hard. So they suddenly said, they were just like 3 months or 4 months before Olympics, and they suddenly told us that the Olympics was postponed. And it was really shocking, first thing, and it was sad because I was completely fit and fine and everything was going on well. Because when there's Olympics coming up, you go into a zone where you work really hard for that Olympics, because it comes once in 4 years, and you make sure everything is going on well and fine and perfect. So at that point of time, it was really hard and sad to hear to that news where they said they were going to postpone, because it was one more year where we had to actually work hard, because we never knew what was going to happen. And as I mentioned, injuries don't tell and come, anything can happen any moment. So at that phase was a bit hard, but everything went on well and I worked hard. But I would say, in a way, the pandemic has helped me a lot, because it gave me an opportunity and it gave me a lot of time to improve my skill and improve my technique, and I had enough time to train to make my skill perfect. So in a way, it was an advantage for me. But yeah, that phase was a bit hard. But yeah, again, the Olympics finally happened, and I got a bronze. So there are a lot of small memories where when I was really, really young, my dad used to take me for the tournaments. And when I was, I think, 13 or 14, I think more young. So I'm a very emotional person. So when I played a match and I lost, I was actually standing near the referee table asking them to play a rematch, because generally there are no rematches. But I got so emotional. I was standing there thinking that I will get another opportunity to play against her, which didn't happen, of course. So these are the small things where and now I look back and I think that was so silly. But I think the love towards the sport will always remain that way. And my inspiration is my dad, my parents, because definitely I love badminton players. I really like the way Lindan plays. He's a Chinese player, so I really like the way he plays. And but my inspiration, my pillars, my support are all my parents. My dad, of course, he's an Arjuna awardee in volleyball. So I think because of them, I'm here today. So it is in a way I'm very lucky, because even till date he comes to my wherever I train, whatever time he drops me, he stays there until I play. He tells what mistakes I do. We come back home, we discuss our mistakes, and we watch matches together. So having a father like that, it's I would say it's unique in a way, because he understands sports and he's been seeing my matches more than me, of course, since more than 15 years. So I think in a way I'm very lucky, because I get to know and I get to listen to people, telling their views, because every person might have different view. Every person might think differently. Every coach might think differently. And this is always good to take, things where they say, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it is fine. But you always have to make sure you try it and you give it a go. So in a way, in that way, I think that really helps me in my game.
Ma'am, it's a great honor to have you here and to be able to.
This is going to be the last question.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity, and really to be able to speak to you is very great honor for us. And as director sir said, we would really like you to be in LBSNAA to distribute the prizes for LP or Premier League.
Yeah.
Ma'am, my question is that in any sport, when we work hard, we achieve a certain level. But after that, achieving that level, it is very difficult to go up from that level. And how do you break that barrier? Means, what strategy do we apply? Working hard is not enough, I think, at that point of time. So to increase our level, what should we do?
Yeah, I think working smart is important at that point of time because, yeah, I mean, working hard, you achieve to a certain level, and after that, you might be thinking what's next. But I think there are a lot of things to do because, you would always want to keep achieving no matter what. And sometimes it is okay to lose because, every day is not your day. So at that point of time, I think it's very important to work smarter, and you need to understand, and you need to know how your body works, how it is, what you need to improve in, what the opponent is making you play, or what mistakes, or where she's weak in. So these are the few points where at times we might not observe, but it's very important to work smartly and take it in the right way, because uh, for few players, physically they might not be fit, but for few players mentally they might not be fit. So we need to understand a player, what she's playing, what she's doing, and what needs to be done. So in that way, we need to go smartly from different directions, because as I said, so if plan A doesn't work, you need to go from plan B, or you need to uh, play plan C. So these are the few things where you have to think smartly and make it work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think coming out of isolation, today's session was like a booster dose for all the officer trainees. And I think it will re-energize us for upcoming academic activities as well as LBS Premier League. Ma'am, you have set new yardstick of consistency and dedication. Your story of grit and determination, of that of recovery from fracture to winning a silver at Rio, was very motivating for all of us. I believe that your message of being in a learning phase every day and striving to give your 200% is what all officer trainees will take back with them. We hope to imbibe and inculcate the qualities of resilience and determination in our professional career too, which would help us in serving public and nation at large. As a token of gratitude, ma'am, Academy would be sending a small memento to you via post. I again thank you, ma'am, for this most awaited session of our entire foundation course. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Honorable Director, sir, our course coordinator, Monica Dhami, ma'am, Disha Pannu, ma'am, as well as office bearers of Officers Club for helping in organizing this session. Thank you, everyone.